These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, June 27th, and we are talking about the Celtics' new rookies, new batch of rookies, Creighton's, Baylor Scheierman, and Gonzaga's. Anton Watson? I
Yes.
cannot get his name right for the life of me. And
Anton Watson.
Not because it's a hard name, because I want to say so many different names. Like, I want to say, like,
Antoine Walker.
Wilson or Antoine or Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Like his name is so close to a bunch of different names that I keep saying the wrong words. Anton Watson.
Just call him Ant Watt.
And Ant Watt is good. And then Baylor Scheierman, obviously. And so we are going to read some of Brad Stevens' quotes because he talked to the media today. We are going to watch some, we'll throw some highlight stuff in the background, et cetera, and we'll get cooking. But Sam, how you doing?
Doing great. It's the Spider-Man scene where Norman is talking to, I think, the funding people. He's like, profits are up, views are up.
That they are.
Good day to be a part of the channel.
And we've honestly been slacking because we could probably have more subs in this because we haven't been asking you guys to subscribe at the start of videos. So
I thought you were about to say we weren't doing enough. I was like,
we'll ask you now.
Mean we're slacking? I'm like, we're putting up 3-4 things a day.
We'll ask you now. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it very much. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to How About Them Celtics here, and follow us on podcast platforms too, so you can listen to us in the car and all that good stuff. But Brad Stevens talked to the media today, asked a bunch of questions. A lot of the questions are focused on, got two older guys in the draft. Was that like a calculated thing? Was that something you planned to, or was that more just, how the cookie crumbled? I think Corrales was the first guy to ask it. And he said effectively, I think you're looking at what's available when you draft. I'm going to read snippets of the answers. I'm not going to read his long-winded answers. Brad talks a lot. He gives long, very good answers, but he said, I think you're looking at what's available when you draft. In the first round, we thought really highly of Baylor, and we're excited that he dropped to 30. The second round, similar thing to Anton. Basically saying, like, not necessarily, but, like, he also talked about how you don't want to have, like, all young players. You don't want to have a big, like, all these starters and vets and then just all young players, because you have Jaden Springer, who's like 21. You have Jordan Walsh, who's like 20. Like, you don't want to keep adding, like, 5 20-year-olds behind this group of, vets and guys ready to compete for a championship. It's like you want to have more of a roster balance there. He also said, talked highly of Scheierman, said he's done a good job with his body, done a good job in the weight room. He's been super skilled, super smart, super tough. Like, he's a basketball player now. He knows how to play. And so I think he's getting the body to the level it's been in the last couple of years. And I think the way that's translated to his performances in the Big East is not a surprise, because he's just done a lot of good things for them. And then of Watson, said, I really like him, his strength and ability to move his feet laterally, give him a chance to be one of these big, strong hybrid forwards that can switch guard a lot of people. I want him to come in here with the mindset he's going to let it fly like he's never let it fly before, because I think he's a better shooter than sometimes he thinks he is. And so I'm looking forward to getting him in here in 8 days or so. Brad did say this, yes. Shout out. Speaking highly of these two guys, and I will say, with Jordan Walsh, it was like, okay, yeah, super young if he develops. With these two, you can see the vision of, oh yeah, like, those are players that can help this team immediately. Not necessarily in the sense of, like, put them in the rotation now, but they have, like, NBA ready skills that you can point at and say, like, that fits with the Celtics.
Yeah, and getting them to be rotation ready is still going to be a process, but it's going to give us a ton of fun things to pay attention to in Summer League. It's going to give us a lot of fun things to pay attention to in regards to the G League, depending on how well Maine plays. Like, obviously, they were a finalist this year, so the team was exciting to watch, and Walsh was a good prospect for them up there. So you're going to have a little bit more going on up in Portland next year, which will be fun. As far as the skill sets go, we did tons of Scheierman talk, and as much as there were other guys that I just thought were more exciting, and, like, the upside was more, exciting, he still is a good fit. Like, he does a lot of things right. And, like, when people have asked me about him, it's really like, he can shoot well. He makes good decisions with the ball. You can trust him to make the right pass. He doesn't panic when he gets double teamed. Like, he talked to you guys on the Zoom call today about being a quarterback. And when he was in his home state,
great quarterback,
good old Nebraska, record-setting quarterback, won the state championship and stuff. And he says that experience has helped him become a better passer, better aware ball handler on the basketball court. And it clearly shows when we watched the highlights, we watched the mixtape leading up to the draft, even before we knew he was going to be a Celtic. It was like, okay, yeah, he finds the open teammates. And the whole quarterbacking part of it definitely feeds into the not looking flustered when he's under pressure. So that's a good skill set for him to carry over into the Celtics. As far as Anton Watson goes, we watched the highlights today. We saw the old Al Horford comp. The 3-point shot isn't bad. Good form. It's a little slow, as is Al Horford's. Good comp from KOC. You can see the vision. You can see that they want him to be someone who can be a bruiser, who can be aggressive on the glass, who can defend a little bit down low, who can hopefully learn to defend the perimeter, but can also stretch the floor. That's so important when it comes to the Celtics team and the way that they play, where you've got 5 guys out there at almost all times that you can't leave. Even when Cornette's out there, you can't leave him if he's in the dunker spot because he's really good as a lob threat. He's good as a catch and finish guy, even if it's not a lob. They have maximized their offensive potential. And if anybody coming into the team is expecting to get minutes, they have to be able to contribute in the same.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every single week. From lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Sam and I use PrizePicks all season long. You guys saw it before all of the pregame shows, but now it's the offseason, so we got to find some other things. Take a look at the Red Sox. Jarren Duran. Never know. He's been pretty good. Might as well take a look at his hits. You look at Caitlin Clark, the WNBA. You look at Alyssa Thomas, the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun, right there. The points. More or less, who knows? They're pretty good this year. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I don't want to say the same manner, but to some degree of where the defenses feel uncomfortable with giving them a shot.
Yeah, and Brad sounded pretty confident about Anton's ability to defend the perimeter, which is a good thing to hear from obviously the guy who scouted him so closely. I'll throw on some Scheierman and Anton highlights while we're chatting in the background, just for the old, what is it called, short attention span people, and so we can watch and react, and it's more fun that way anyways. But like, I think we talked about this when we were scouting and stuff, and the instant reaction, like, when's the last time the Celtics had a lefty? Like, that's fun in and of itself. Like, yeah, away from like the full fit thing, like, it's kind of fun to have a different look on the team. And Baylor Scheierman seems just like a guy who plays and you know, carries himself with the right attitude. You hear him talking in the pregame, or not pregame, the introductory press conference. He apparently worked out with the Celtics in 2022 when he was still at South Dakota State, and they basically said, hey, we want to get you a little stronger, a little quicker, all that stuff. And he said, you know, basically bet, okay, I will do that. And ended up transferring to Creighton because, in his own words, like, I feel like if I wanted to get to the next level, I needed to keep challenging myself. And if you look at his stats, like, he kept improving, around 6 points his freshman season at South Dakota State. Then it jumped to 15, and then like 16, and then it dipped down to 12 his first year at Creighton, and then it ballooned back up to 19. And so you could see him, like, in the stats itself, like, you could see him accept the challenge and embrace the challenge and then improve because of it in real time. Quick release. And I'll do a little spoiler alert here. I'm working on an article, and I talked to his head coach at South Dakota State, and I asked him, you know, what's the first thing you notice? Like, what, like, South Dakota State was the only school to recruit him coming out of high school. I was like, what was, like, why? And he goes, this dude passes like a motherfucker. He goes, this dude is an awesome passer. And the best part is, like, I found an interview from Baylor too, when he was getting ready to go to South Dakota State, like, as a senior in high school. And he said, I like passing more than I like scoring. Like I get more joy out of setting up a teammate than I do scoring the basketball. And his coach was telling me about how he would just throw full court like heaves to his teammates and find him, and he would just be running back like hell yeah. So like this dude, for as good of a rebounder because he averaged 9 rebounds a game at Creighton, and a good of a scorer because he averaged 18 points, he can pass the ball, and that's a huge like important thing to have on the team. Like Baylor Scheierman feels like a guy who's going to fit in, if not right away, then a lot quicker than a lot of people realize. And all of these, draft grades are speaking so unbelievably highly of this pick. And I know Tyler Rucker of No Ceilings, who good friend of the pod, said something along the lines to us of like, we were surprised he was on the board there. So I a lot of people really, really like this pick, and Celtics fans should too.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching the tape here, and he's just doing a little bit of everything. The jump shot looks great. We've seen him make a couple tough finishes. The passing is there. And when he is eventually fortunate enough to have his number called, it does have a feel where it's like, yeah, I feel like he'll be ready. It feels like he's going to be able to just play into whatever the flow of the offense is. He doesn't require too much. I mean, we talked a lot throughout the draft ramp up process, right? Of, oh, this guy really looks like a high usage guy, like where he needs the ball. Scheierman, we're watching these highlights. You do get that feel. But there's a mix of the catch and shoot stuff, the short roll stuff, where he's able to show off like, hey, I'll give you something in small stints too. It doesn't have to be all about me. And that's going to be so important for him coming into his own in the NBA and fitting into the Celtics team, because clearly there's not a lot of room for him to carve out some, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his Baylor
Rotation
time.
minutes. Oh,
No.
Baylor. Yes, Baylor time. I will also say I almost think it's worth it drafting a player who is used to having the ball in his hands, but has the mindset of being willing and able to take a step back, than a guy who is used to taking the step back. Because if this guy is able and willing to play off ball, that even when he has the ball in his hands, he'll be able to make a play. And I think that's a super underrated skill set, and Baylor clearly has. And I asked Brad about the whole character thing, because I think it's super interesting to see how much of that goes into scouting, evaluation, and stuff like that. Like, to evaluate the person and the player, is it mainly the player? And he was like, I think that's an important thing for everybody who walks in the door. Like, if you're not going to bring the energy, if you're not going to live up to the standard that we have here, we don't want you here. And he spoke very highly of Baylor and Anton in terms of that. So I think that speaks volumes about them as well. And speaking of Anton, we can watch a little bit of his stuff too. He's going up against Mr. Edey here, number 9 pick in the draft.
Worst draft grade in the first round. I want to talk about a reach.
People did not love it. But Anton seems like a guy they like because of the potential versatility he can have. You see him here setting the screen, getting in the lane, rolling, finishing over Edey after he gets sealed. He just seems like a guy who has the potential to have all those tools. And after spending so much time at a great program like Gonzaga, you could see him being able to sort of put it all together and play for a winning organization. That's another thing Brad said. Brad said, like, these guys are both winners. Like, that's important. And they are both winners because, I mean, Scheierman led Creighton on a bunch of runs in the NCAA tournament. And, I mean, Gonzaga's Gonzaga. Like, they're good for a reason. And Anton Watson was a big part of that for 5 years. So I think getting two guys who are good at that, and like Brad said, like, it looks like Anton's a better shooter than people gave him credit for. And to his credit, he did shoot, I think, over 40%. It was just a really low volume. So I'm excited for what both these guys can bring to the table.
Yeah, in the way that Watson can kind of score on multiple levels, not so much as a creator, but like looks pretty comfortable finishing in the paint. He's good off the offensive glass, where he's shown that he's willing to battle. And then his ability to shoot the 3 ball, despite his shot being slow, like, here you go. Good look in the corner. Barely even hits the rim. Like, good look, comfortable shooting the ball. He shoots with confidence, despite, like you mentioned, he doesn't shoot a ton of 3-point shots. Even this, he got out and ran the floor, and he gets rewarded for it with an easy layup. Like, the willingness to just get in and do the dirty work and play without the ball is going to be important to his NBA future. That's how you're going to stick with the Celtics. That's how you're going to stick wherever you end up, is just being an energy guy. It feels like as a big guy, a lot of the time you have to get your start like that.
Hit the Isaiah Hartenstein floater there. Damn. Say something. I think I lost your audio. I think it's on my end though. I'm going to turn my headphones off and on. Oh no, I got you again.
No, you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry.
I hit
a button on my keyboard, and I thought you cut out. But I like both these guys. And back to Scheierman for a sec. We've been talking like, oh, is he Sam Hauser replacement? Realistically, that's just Svi Mykhailiuk next year, right? Like, in all honesty, like you can use the second round exception for him and you can just replace Svi. I love Svi. I think Svi's a good player, but like if you're getting a guy who you just picked out of the draft who you like, who honestly probably brings a bit, I don't want to say more to the table, but like a different look and similar things on a cheaper contract, you do that if you're the Celtics and are looking to save money anyways. As for Watson,
Hey, gang, let me tell you a little something about Game Time. Now that the NBA season has come to a close, you got to get yourself out to an MLB game this summer. You want to go to Fenway, you want to go to your local ballpark. Game Time is going to get you there. They are an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes tickets easy to get. Prices on Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Who doesn't love using it? I sure do. I used my Game Time app to get my dad tickets for Father's Day, and I got a fantastic deal. It's so easy to use. Again, you can get those last minute deals. They have flash deals and zone deals. It's easy. You can take a look at your seats on the app to see what the view is going to be like before you get there. You don't want to get stuck behind a pole. I'll tell you, that happened to me once. It was not fun. Again, last minute deals are fantastic on Game Time. You can save up to 60% off buying those last minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
I don't want to say it's a bit more tricky, but you do have Tillman, you do have Cornette, who both need to be re-signed. Nimish Queta has a team option. So you're throwing darts at a dartboard at the big man position, which is a good thing. That's what we wanted. And I'm honestly surprised he wasn't on our radar as much, because I guess we focused too much on the 30th pick and less on the 54th overall pick, which is fine. And that was the easy thing to do. But it does look like he's very comfortable playing, like you point out all the time, like in a position that he could be in with Boston. And I think that's almost an advantage of how long his career was. Excuse me, at Gonzaga, because they had high level prospects coming in, and so he was never in a position to play this high usage role, and so he got used to a role that's probably similar to what he's going to play with Boston.
And because of that, like, it allows for players, whoever it may be, to have big moments. I mean, just look at Tillman having a big game 3 of the NBA Finals. Tillman's skill set, though Watson's is very raw, is very similar to what we see in these highlights. Like, it's a lot of down low battling, and then he'll shoot the occasional three, especially on offense. And he does a good job moving without the basketball and putting himself in positions to score. That leaves the door open for potential impact moments, and that's really important when you look into the draft. Do I think that we're ever going to see a massive role for him on the Celtics? Probably not. It feels like the line is pretty long for guys looking to get those big man minutes. Like you mentioned, you have Cornette and Tillman and Queta all kind of hanging out behind Horford and Porzingis. And I don't feel like this draft pick moves any decision-making on bringing back Tillman or Cornette. I think both of them should be back. I think Nemi should be back too. Even though I suppose you could be a little bit more like skeptical on that, but I think everybody gets along with Nemi, and
I think bring him back. Yeah.
It would be kind of like
Nemi's a team
straying
option
off
too.
the path.
So you don't need to re-sign him. You just need to pick up the team option, which seems like a no-brainer.
You're right. And like, he still seems like he's part of their plan. He was playing up in Maine all season. Like, he was getting reps to improve himself. And I feel like we saw was extremely impactful. He had a couple really good games, a couple double-doubles. So he can play. It's just a question of him learning a little bit more discipline on the defensive end and not fouling as much. Maybe get a little extra touch near the basket too, Jack.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. Yeah, I don't know. Watson's a weird one. It feels like you mentioned, he probably won't end up getting a ton of minutes with the Celtics, at least in the immediate future. Scheierman intrigues me a lot, though. He's got a ton of tools. He looks like he's ready to contribute in an offense right away. The defensive end needs to improve, obviously, but he plays with hustle. He plays hard, and that's always a good place to start. It's a good foundation for a passable defensive player. And if they can work with him like the way they worked with Hauser, then you don't see any reason why they couldn't. I think it was Kevin O'Connor saying, like, I forget where it was, but like he's coming in with better defensive tools than Hauser did when he was a prospect. And so if they can get Hauser to the point where they're comfortable letting him guard Luka for stretches in the finals, I feel like he can probably work with Scheierman to be an all right player on that end. And also, I'm a sucker for Scheierman. He's a TikTok guy. He posts on TikTok. I think it's very funny. I'm a fan. He seems like a cool guy. He likes High School Musical. I'm a big fan. He just seems like and the biggest thing for me was when he had his introductory press conference. He was talking, obviously, like everyone would say, oh, how hard do you play out? Because this, blah, blah, blah. And one of the biggest things he put an emphasis on was I asked him, like, what do you bring off the court? How do you think you fit into a Celtics fan base and an organization that like is super intense and they love this team and they don't accept anything like but greatness? Because I'm a hard worker. I like to work and I like to compete. I just like to impact the game in any way I can. I like to impact winning, whether it's diving on the floor, making threes, or blocking shots, whatever that might be. And I like to have fun while doing it. I think basketball obviously is a game that's meant to be enjoyed. And so when I'm out there on the court, I just like to have a lot of fun and I like to compete. It's just like that's the perfect mindset. Like that's what this entire Celtics team has talked about for the entire, like however many seasons. And Xavier Tillman was talking about, I asked him like, what was your first interaction with Joe? Like your favorite Joe quote. And he said, the first thing Joe ever told me was don't be weird. Like quote to Tillman.
Pot kettle.
Exactly. But he made the point of like, I think it made me realize like when I come here, I'm working, but at the same, and like when I leave, I'm not working anymore. And so why bother taking like this so seriously? Like it's supposed to be fun. And obviously we have this big goal in mind, but like loosen up a little bit. And so I think having that mindset's an important thing for where the Celtics want to go and how they want to be and how they want to compete moving forward. So I like that from Scheierman. I think both these guys are fine players. I'm more confident in Scheierman getting minutes sooner than Watson, but it just doesn't feel like it'll happen this season. I think you'll see spots like fee spots effectively. And then Watson will probably get like here and there end of game stuff, which we'll see what happens. You never know because they will need minutes with Porzingis out till December. So
they will. They will. Poor Porzingis. That's the video tomorrow.
Tough.
Porzingis
did say surgery went good though. So
yeah,
good from Brad.
You ever hear surgery went bad?
Lonzo
team. Yeah, but I don't know if I actually might have to look into that just to see what the official like team account was like. Successful meniscus surgery. Then
I don't think the team account said anything.
Waiting.
I don't think the team account said anything. I think months later it was like, yeah, it didn't go to plan.
Okay,
or something like that. Anyways,
the doctor sneezed in the middle of an incision.
Yeah, right. Tyrod Taylor. You've seen that story, I assume.
Punctured lung.
Yeah. Tough. Good for Justin Herbert. Anyways, any final thoughts? I think we're good.
Excited for Summer League with these guys. Jack and I will be in Vegas. Hopefully we'll be there. Sounds like we will be, but fingers crossed.
We'll see.
And it'll be a good opportunity to see some new talent up close.
Absolutely.
Raptors. Excellent draft. Mogbo, Ehrlich. They got all the HBTC guys. Yeah,
they'll be a fun team. I like it. They got Jacoby Walter, too. My guy. I like him. He's really good. We'll see. We'll have to check their Summer League team out just to see Mogbo. Appreciate you for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. New pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. We're going to have a bunch of Summer League content for you leading up to it, giving you little profiles on all the players to make you a little bit more familiar with the boys suiting up in Vegas. You can also find us doing streams on the channel occasionally. Hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. The pods and recaps will be there when they happen. They'll go right into your feed if you follow us. Leave a 5-star review. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Tell us what you're looking forward to with these two guys. Tell us what you're looking forward to with Summer League. I'm sure it's coming up soon. The roster's going to come out. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. Streams are there. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's Run NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance. It's a Frost.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.